I can't prove it, but I'm pretty sure I'm the last footy YouTuber with more than 10 subscribers who has not dropped a World Cup predictions video yet. So that's what we're going to take care of in today's video because this is past due. But before we do, I want to let you guys know that I'll be doing several editions of this leading up to the tournament, probably one or two before the actual thing kicks off. If you want to see that in the 1,000 hours of World Cup preview content that I'm going to be dropping on the channel, make sure you are subscribed. Smash the like button, and as I go through these one by one, let me know if I have a prediction that upsets you. Let me know if I have a prediction that gives you pure happiness. This should be a good one. Let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to have to resolve the playoffs first. Ooh, should I just decide the winner here? I'll go Italy for this one. You know what? If I simulate, what is it? Sweden. It gave us Sweden in this one. Okay, sure. Let's just roll with it. Turkey. I don't want another hot take. Let's just go Denmark. Oh my gosh, I will assume Congo. We'll go ahead and sim this one. Bolivia. They gave us Bolivia. Okay, so I'm sorry to my Rockies. These are not my predictions. Blame the app. Let's get into Group A first. Oh boy, everybody's already furious. Mexico versus South Africa. Okay, as of time of recording, after seeing the AFCON, I'm upgrading this to a 2-1 victory for Mexico against South Africa. I respect South Africa's attack. That defense is the worst in the group. It is quite poor. Hugo Bruce has a lot to work on the defensive end, defensive transitions, and defending set pieces. If South Africa want to survive this group, which they absolutely can, but they must be better. I think Mexico is slightly better now. I'm more confident about Mexico winning purely because Mexico are kind of set piece merchants from time to time, and that's South Africa's weakness. So I'm going to say 2-1 for now. Again, tune into next week's episode to see if I downgrade this to a draw or a South African win. South Korea, Denmark. Oh my gosh. I am going to say that the Koreans win this 2-1. I'm not expecting too much from Denmark at this tournament. South Korea has a very good all-time record against Europeans at the World Cup. Basically, all of their wins at the World Cup have come against European nations. They have a very European play style, and I think that they will do well in this game. I think it's going to be close. This might be one of my hotter takes. I don't know. Should I give more of an explanation? I really don't want this to be a 3-hour video. So we're just going to leave it at that. One of my hotter takes, I do think the Koreans will beat the Danes at this World Cup. Denmark versus South Africa. Oh my goodness. That Danish attack, or excuse me, the Danish defense is not great. South Africa gets a goal, I think, in this game for sure. Could they get 2 goals? I'm going to say it's a 1-1 for now. I do not think the Danes lose the opening 2 games, but I think the South Africans can score. Can they stop the Danish? Again, I'm very concerned about physicality, set pieces, things like that. Mexico versus South Korea. I think this will be a great spectacle, and I think it's, I'll go 1-1 as well. You know what? Screw it. We'll go 2-2 because I do think it's going to be the exact same thing that happened in the friendly a couple months ago. Denmark versus Mexico. The Danes will be pushing. Let me see. In this context, if I'm correct, Mexico can just kind of chill, and I think that's what will happen. Denmark will be pushing for a victory. I don't think they're good enough to get it. I'm going to go with 0-0 in this one. In South Africa versus South Korea. Oh my goodness. This could be game of the group stage. I'm incredibly excited for this. But who ends up taking it, man? This one is hard. This is really, really hard. That Korean defense. Again, I think I'm putting 1 goal for South Africa in every game because I think they get a goal in every single game. Can the Koreans get 2? They are good at set pieces, man. I'm going to say the Koreans take it. I'm going to say they take it 2-1. I'm so sorry, guys. Let's move on to Group B. I've already lost 50% of the audience. Let's move on to Group B here. Canada, Italy, Qatar, and Switzerland. Canada versus Italy. Straight up here. Oh my goodness. Jesse Marsch does like to be the underdog. I think this is a draw. I think it's going to be a 1-1. If I'm picking a victor, I would go with the Canadians for the hosting boost and the fact that Italy, I just don't think they're a special team. I do think that Canada can take advantage of a strong national team, but one that will be having plenty of expectations in Italy. So I think the Canadians get something in this game. Switzerland versus Qatar. I'm going to say 3-1. I do think the magic of Akram Afif and Almoez Ali does get one against the Swiss back line. It looked pretty vulnerable when they played Mexico beat Mexico 4-2. Mexico scoring 2 goals. Maybe could have been a third in that game. I believe Santi Jimenez missed a pretty good chance. I do think Qatar get one, but if this Qatar defense holds the Swiss to less than 2 goals, massive W, regardless of whether they win the game or not. Switzerland versus Italy. This is going to be interesting. A lot of people have been saying the Swiss win this one. I'm going to say that given the group stage, I don't think the Swiss necessarily ball out in the group stage, so I do think they will have drop points here. Excuse me, getting my Italian coffee in. I ordered an Americano here. It was okay. Canada versus Qatar. I do think this is going to be a 2-1 for Canada. I do think they will win this game by 2 goals. Canada versus Switzerland. Let me see. At this point in time, they would be the first 2 teams here. Okay. This is interesting. It's a very tough one. I'm going to say it is a 1-1. Is kind of what I'm feeling at this point in time. Italy versus Qatar. I'm kind of thinking another 3-1, guys. I just do not rate the Qatari defense at all. I would have them eating, 8 goals in this group stage, which means I got, Italy winning the group, Canada in third, Switzerland. I think this is very plausible. This is the game for me. Canada-Italy match day 1. What the hell happens in this game? Moving on now to Group C. Oh, this one should be good. Morocco versus Brazil. Oh, Morocco, I think, are going to sit back, and they're going to be very difficult to break down. But I think Brazil have just a little too much wide talent for Morocco in this game. I do think they take it 2-1. I think Morocco puts up a hell of a fight. This could absolutely be a draw. Do not get me confused. This could completely be a draw. I would not be stunned if Morocco win. But I really want to see what Brazil look like in the next 2 friendlies. Because under Ancelotti, it seems like they have a great game, smacking the crap out of South Korea 5-0. And then they kind of rotate the squad and they don't take it as seriously. And they lose to Japan away from home. And then you have the Senegal game, which I thought was fantastic from them. But it's a little bit of up and down still with Brazil. Then you got the Tunisia game. So it's I don't know if I trust them to be consistent enough. But for the sake of time and this simulation, I'm just going to say that they take it 2-1. I might even change my mind on that in a second. Haiti versus Scotland. I think this is going to be a 2-1 for the Scots. I like Haiti and I like the attacking firepower. I do not like their ability to keep clean sheets against teams that have any teeth whatsoever. Haiti, every single time they play a team that can kind of attack, including a United States B team, they concede goals and often concede multiple goals. And I think the Scots, while they don't have a blistering attack, I do think that they showed in World Cup qualifying they can score goals. I mean, they scored 4 against the Danes in one game, for crying out loud. I think they get 2 here against Haiti. I do think it'll be a close game, but I'm going to back the Scots here. Morocco versus Scotland. This game is so freaking good. But I am going to back Morocco to win here. I'm going to go 1-0. I do think the Scots defensively solid, but Morocco have the difference makers that Scotland doesn't really, in my opinion. I love McTominay. There's some very good players in the Scottish team. Steve Clark, rate him highly as a manager. I think he did a great job getting Scotland here after quite a drought at the World Cup. But Morocco, I think they're going to be too strong here. And I do think losing the AFCON is going to give them a little bit of freedom now that not every single person and their mom is expecting them to replicate a semifinal. I feel like half the people who watch footy kind of sold their stock in that sense. Not that Morocco's not a good team, but that they could make a semifinal. Brazil versus Haiti. I see this as, I'm going to go 3-0. In this game, but it could be a 4. I'm going 3.5 goals for Brazil in this game. I do not think Haiti has seen anything close to this Brazilian team in a while, and I don't think they're going to be prepared. Scotland versus Brazil. Okay, this is an interesting one because Brazil would have 6. I actually think the Scots draw in this game. I'm going to go 1-1. I think at this point in time, we've seen this at previous World Cups, even Brazil losing to Cameroon last time. If they have 6 and they have this first spot locked up, they will play a rotated team, and I think they will drop points here. So I do think the Scots do enough to hang on. And then Morocco versus Haiti. Let me see. What would it look like here? So Morocco kind of needs something. They obviously can't lose, given what I have the predictions for currently. Versus Haiti. This is kind of giving me like Zambia type vibes. I'm going to go 2-0 for Morocco in this game. I just don't think Haiti have enough. This is not CONCACAF anymore. And I said in my preview video, if they get a draw against anybody, one of the greatest achievements in national team history, with all due respect to my Haitians. Let's move on to Group D now. Oh my goodness. I think this is the toughest freaking group to call. As of time of recording, oh my gosh, USA versus Paraguay. This is pretty much it, man. This is like the group for me. Paraguay. I'm gonna say it's a draw in the first game. I do not think Paraguay will lose. I think them losing to the United States in the friendly recently will actually benefit them a little bit. They were also missing some players, as was the United States. But I think they're going to have just enough. I do not think Paraguay will win. I've kind of sold out of that prediction. But I do think they can get points here. Australia versus Turkey next, man. Oh my gosh. All-out attack versus turtle mode. Oh my goodness. I mean, the Turks in the group stage last time at the Euros, who they beat Georgia and they beat Czech Republic. Man, this one is hard. This one is really, really hard. As of time of recording, I am going to say that the Turks take it. I'm going to say 1-0. I have not liked what I've seen from Australia in the last two windows. It's been almost nothing from a counterattacking perspective, which I think if you can counter, I think you will beat the Turks. I do not rate that back line at all. But I don't know. I just these are one of the predictions I've changed. Like I kind of changed South Africa, Mexico. I'm kind of changing Turkey, Australia, and this upsets me because I really want to have the Socceroos here, but Popovich has got to stop tinkering with the freaking lineup every single game. It is infuriating. I cannot imagine how Aussies feel watching this team, dude. It pisses me off, and I'm American. Turkey versus Paraguay. I'm going to go 2-1 here for the Paraguayans. I'm talking about teams that can counterattack. Here we go. You want to compare Paraguay's attack to Australia, what they're bringing band for band to this tournament? Enciso, Almiron, Ramon Sosa, Sanabria. That is better than Torre, Iracunda, Craig Goodwin, and Martin Boyle. I don't know who else. If I'm forgetting somebody very important, Yengi for Australia. I'm just advantage Paraguay here. I think that if they get a goal first, it's done, in my opinion. USA versus Australia. USA versus who the USA used to be 10 years ago. Oof, this is such a good game. I love this match. Group D, I'm going to be live for every single World Cup game anyway, so hit subscribe for that, but this one in particular is fantastic. USA versus Australia. I do think the Aussies can get one, but I'm going to go with the exact same scoreline as last game for the United States. I think that they were comfortably the better side against Australia. And Australia are one of the teams in March I'm watching closely. I need the faith back. If I get the faith back, these are 2 draws instead of 2 losses to start the tournament. Turkey versus USA. I think the Turks will win this one. Oh my gosh, this could be game of the tournament. But I'm going to say they win it 2-1. I'm going to say the Turks win it 2-1. Australia versus Paraguay. I'm going 1-1 in this game, which means I have the States in third, Turkey in first, Paraguay in second. Yeah, man. I know when the group came out, I really was bullish on the Aussies, and I think that they will beat the Turks, but I don't know, man. I sold out of my stock a little bit with this team. Knowing Australia, though, they're just going to put it together and make me look like an idiot. Let's go ahead and move on to Group E now. Okay, I love this group, man. Germany versus Curacao. This group is absolutely spicy. I'm going to say a respectable 2-0 victory for the Germans against Curacao. I think they will dig deep. This game's in Houston. I believe they played a Gold Cup game in Houston. I got free tickets to it, but unfortunately I was in Argentina, so I couldn't go. So I'm going to go with the Germans here. Ivory Coast versus Ecuador, man. This is either a 0-0 complete freaking snoozer, or Cote d'Ivoire plays like they did at the AFCON and they win 1-0. I don't know. Out of respect for Ecuador, I'm going to go a 1-1 here. Out of respect for Ecuador, but they got to start looking better. Actually, you know what? I'm sorry. I can't. After what I've seen, 3 straight draws against United States, Mexico, and Canada, in which you were the worst team in 2 of those 3 games, and in the other game, you were up a man for 90 minutes and did absolutely nothing. I think Cote d'Ivoire is going to win this game, man. I'm very worried about Ecuador. I want Ecuador to make the semifinal. I want Ecuador to shut up all the haters who say they've never done anything at a tournament, who say this team is fraudulent. They're a paper tiger. They look good. They look good on Transfermarkt. They look good in your squad builder, best 11, but they don't deliver. I want that narrative to get burnt alive, like this is the Salem witch trials. But I'm not seeing a damn thing from the manager. I'm not convinced the players really like Becasese. And if you're going to be successful like Ecuador, because not to go on a tangent here, but I think Ecuador could have a Morocco-esque World Cup. The difference is that the players loved Regragui at the time, completely bought in to everything that he was saying. And I'm going to say Regragui waxes the floor with Becasese in terms of tactical prowess. I don't know if Becasese knows how to adjust a game plan. Certainly, much less during halftime of a game in which you're down a goal. I don't know if he adjusts in between games. He kind of just relying on the best defense in international football to carry him versus Regragui. We saw him switch up how he was playing in every single knockout game at the AFCON. So I digress here. I'm going to back Cote d'Ivoire, especially if they bring a little bit stronger of a roster to the World Cup that they brought to the AFCON. I don't think Ecuador is going to be able to stop Diomande. This is going to be very, very tough. It all comes down to how the Ivorian Nines play in this game, because that is a huge freaking weak spot in this team. Germany versus Cote d'Ivoire. I think this is a 1-1. I do not think Cote d'Ivoire will lose this game. I don't know why I'm so confident in that, but backline needs to be a little bit better than what we saw against Egypt. The kind of what sunk them in that game was they conceded early and they had to chase the game. They don't tend to do that. If you look at the CV under Fai, I think is how you pronounce their manager's name, going back to the last AFCON, I think they get a draw against the Germans. Ecuador versus Curacao. God help Ecuador if they don't win this game. And I think they do it 1-2. Could they get it 2? Is this gonna be a Qatar versus Ecuador at the opening game last year? I think it is. I'm gonna go 2-0 Ecuador here. Curacao versus Cote d'Ivoire. I'm gonna say that Cote d'Ivoire takes it 1-0. I'm still not convinced this is a team that can really run it up. And at this point in time, they would have 4 points. I'm not sure if they're gonna go super bombastic in the attack. Ecuador versus Germany. I also do not think that Ecuador will lose this game, so I'm going 0-0 here. And this is my group. Wow, Cote d'Ivoire on 7. That's going to come back to bite me in the ass, isn't it? Group F now, and we got Sweden. I've never talked about Sweden in any of these prediction videos because I always just assume it's Poland. But don't get mad at me. It was the simulator. I didn't choose this, okay? For the Poles that are furious that they're not going to get mentioned in this video. Netherlands versus Japan. Okay. Gosh, this one's great, isn't it? I'm going 2-1 Japan. The Netherlands confuse me because you look at the defense and it's just stacked with names. Ake, Van Dijk, Mickey Van de Ven. It is a very good-looking back line on paper. But then you look at some of the performances, like if I remember, Lithuania scored 2 goals. In the Nations League, they ate hella goals. I know it was against Spain, but I think it was like 5 across 2 games. When they play sort of more dead offensive sides, they can keep a clean sheet, like Finland. But when teams really put them on the back foot, I don't know if it's because guys like Dumfries are more like offensive. I mean, they got Timber in the back line as well. I mean, they have everything to be a top defense in world football. I just talked about Ecuador. We should be talking about the Dutch in the same sentence, and we don't. And there's no argument that they have the best defense because we haven't seen any performance like that to suggest it. So it's weird. I also think Japan, similar to South Korea, do play better against the European teams. I do think they will get a victory here. Gosh, that would mean beating Germany, Spain, and the Netherlands in the last couple World Cups. If Japan don't make the quarters, so help me God. Okay, Sweden versus Tunisia. This is really, really cool because Tunisia were trash at AFCON in every single sense of the word except for Hannibal Mejbri. Sweden, pretty freaking mid. Okay, if it is in fact Sweden in this game, I'm gonna go with a 1-1. I'm gonna go with 1-1 draw here. I don't know how much we should be expecting the Swedes to just smack Tunisia. I do not think Sweden is a good national team at the moment. Netherlands versus Sweden. Oh, I'm going to get a bit aggressive here. I'm going to say it's a 3-1. Oh, I did it again. I think that the Dutch will run it up in this match. I will think they concede. I don't think they'll concede against the Tunisians in the final game, but I do think that they will be able to score several against the Swedish back line. That I'd have to check how many clean sheets they had in qualifying. I just checked. That is hilarious. They did not keep a single clean sheet. Okay, then yeah, I'm going with the Dutch 3 goals here. Tunisia versus Japan. If Japan does not do what Japan always does, rotate against the weakest opponent in the group, I think they will win this game. I just do not back Tunisia defensively right now. I'm going to go conservative 1-0. I don't think it's going to be bad, though. Japan versus Sweden, if this is indeed the matchup, then I'm going to... Oh, my gosh. Am I going to have Japan with 9? Japan with 9? That's ridiculous. I'm going to 2-2 in this game. I think Moriyasu will rotate. If they win the first 2, he's absolutely rotating in this match. I just know him. He's going to start freaking Suzuki in the midfield. He's going to start Keisuke Goto up top at striker. It's going to be a calamity, and the Swedes are going to end up getting a draw in this game. And then Tunisia versus the Netherlands. Let's see. The Netherlands would need something in this game. I'm going to say they win it 2-0. I don't think the Tunisians get more than 1 goal in this group stage, which means Japan wins, Netherlands in second, Sweden and Tunisia in fourth. I think that's pretty realistic. Almost skipped Group G. Oh my gosh, this video's long. I got to start going here. Belgium versus Egypt. 2-0. 2-0 for me. Not feeling like the Egyptians can get something in this game. Iran versus New Zealand. Lord help Iran if they don't win this game. I do think it's going to be a 1-0. That attack is beast mode. I don't know how many major injuries they have right now. I need to check. Mehdi Taremi's not injured. Knock on wood. That's what really matters. I think it'll be enough against the Kiwis. But please take this game seriously. Those guys are actually better than most people realize. Belgium versus Iran. Oh my goodness. I am going to go 1-1 in this game. I think Iran will get a draw. I don't back Belgium, man. I simply don't at all. I don't really back Iran either. This really scares me, actually, making this prediction right now. But you guys know I'm pretty bullish on Asia as a continent. Maybe Belgium, maybe I'll watch them in the March window and be like, oh, these guys are levels above what I think. But I'm going with the draw currently. New Zealand versus Egypt. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to go 2-1 for the Egyptians in this case. New Zealand... I think this is the game for them, actually, against the Egyptians. But I'm going to go with the Anero Pharaohs victory here. And then Egypt versus Iran. If it's going down like this, and they're on 4-3, I think Iran will just do everything to not concede, and this ends up being a 0-0. Belgium versus New Zealand. Will Belgium have the group locked up? They won't. They'll have to go for the victory. And I'm going to give them another 2-1 against New Zealand, which means Belgium wins the group. Iran finally qualify for the knockouts. Congratulations. And Egypt get their first win at a World Cup and probably make the knockouts as well because I got them on 4 points. Let's go on to Group H now. Spain versus Cape Verde. I'm going to say 3-0 here for the Spanish. I don't think Cape Verde can stop them. Saudi Arabia versus Uruguay. I'm going to say Uruguay wins it 1-0, and we can move on. These two teams are dead. Honestly, the faster they get knocked out of the tournament, the better. That's with all due respect to all of their fans watching. Spain versus Saudi Arabia. I'm going to say this is a 2-0 here. I don't know if the Saudis will have enough. Uruguay versus Cape Verde. I'm going to say it's a 1-1 draw. I just don't back Bielsa. I really do not. I think the fact he hasn't been sacked is a laughingstock for Uruguay. It's making a mockery of the national team. I don't know. Uruguay will still have pressure, man. It is Uruguay. You're going up against a debutant in Cape Verde. If they win, it's because they're a set-piece merchant side, and something happens like that. But they really got to get going. If there's a short list of teams that need to restore the most faith in me possible in March, Uruguay is top of that freaking list. I would say that South Africa is on that list. I would say Australia is on that list. I would like to see Canada score goals. That would be my short list for now of teams that I really want to see. Like, okay, can you start to put something together here? Cape Verde versus Saudi Arabia. I think this is going to be a 2-2 because I think the Saudis will be desperate. They'll be pushing for it, but I don't know if it's going to be enough at the end of the day. And then Uruguay will lose to Spain 1-0. You know they're getting up for that game against the Spanish. Honestly, this could be a draw. This could honestly be a draw, 1-1, because Uruguay, they love this type of stuff, man. So anyways, I got the Spanish in first, Uruguay in second, Cape Verde in third, and KSA down there in fourth. Group I, oh my gosh, RIP Bolivia. France, Senegal, this is a 1-1 for me. I do not think the Senegalese lose this game. Norway versus Bolivia. I'm going 5. I'm sorry. I'm going 5-0. No, that's too much. I'm going 4. It's been a long time since they're the World Cup. I'm going 4-0. But, yeah, I don't give Bolivia a prayer in this game. France against Bolivia, I'm also going to go 3-0. I mean, Bolivia's attack away from home when they're not playing Chile basically does nothing. Norway versus Senegal. I think Senegal wins this game. This is something that a lot of people disagree with me. I think Senegal beat the Norwegians. I think these guys are too battle-tested. They're too blooded. Norway, they're the lizard that is about to have its time in the sun, but it's Senegal's hour right now. I think they will have enough repetitions as a team to get it done here. But Norway, man, I mean, this could be fireworks. This could be a 3-2. Honestly, I truly believe that. Norway versus France. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna say, gosh, could Norway beat France? It's not unthinkable. What would the situation be here? Okay, well, hold on. I'm going to say that Senegal beats Bolivia 2-0 because I don't think they're going to kill them. 3-0, exactly what they did against Botswana. I think Bolivia, Botswana, potato. Okay, so France and Norway. Ooh, well, I guess, why am I doing it like this? These games would be happening at the same time, so it's not like they'd be able to plan for what's happening in the other game. I'm going to throw some chaos in my predictions. I'm going to say Norway wins it 1-0. I'm going to say Norway wins it 1-0, which means France finish in third. Oh, my goodness. Okay, let's move on to Group J, one of my favorite groups at the entire World Cup. Argentina versus Algeria. To me, this is a 1-0 for the Argentines. I think the Algerians will dig very, very deep in this game. Absolutely a match in which Argentina could drop points, and I almost want to go a 1-1. At which point Argentina will wake up and continue to play better the rest of the tournament. Austria versus Jordan. Oh my gosh, this one is tough. Okay. I'm gonna say the Austrians take a 2-1 for now. I need to see Jordan be start winning some of these friendlies, man. That's what I want to see. Austria, I know their World Cup qualifying group was terrible. They did beat Bosnia away, beat the crap out of San Marino. They lost to Romania. So this is a potential. Oh my goodness. I'm going to go 2-2. I'm sorry. Argentina versus Austria. Argentina versus Austria. I kind of think this is a 1-1. I think the Austrians will have a very good game against the Argentines. I think Rangnick can game plan this one a little bit, and I don't think Argentina will care that much that they drop points in this match. Jordan versus Algeria. Oh my gosh. Algeria is pretty physical, man. I think based on what I saw at the AFCON, I am going to say the Algerians take it 1-0. Is it 1-0? Let's go 2-1. I think Jordan could get something in this game. Honestly, this could be a 3-2. Let's go ahead and upgrade it to a 3-2. I think this could be a really, really good match. Algeria versus Austria. I think that Algeria will beat Austria in this game. I think they proved that they could win ugly at the AFCON, beating DR Congo, beating Burkina Faso in hideous fashion. I think they can get it done against the Austrians in this game. And then Jordan versus Argentina. I think the Argentines will win relatively comfortable in this game, which means I have Argentina and Algeria going through. Austria will be eliminated because they have 2 points. Group K. Oh my goodness. Portugal, DR Congo. Oh, it's a beautiful thing, but I'm going to go 1-0 for Portugal in this match. DR Congo, they need to improve their counterattacking. It is truly not good enough. Colombia versus Uzbekistan. Oh my gosh. I don't know why I said Uzbekistan in a Spanish accent. Uzbekistan versus Colombia. Two of my favorite national teams. It's a damn shame that I can't just put them in the final. I guess I could put them in the final. This is my simulation. No, but I'm going to say, oh my goodness, man, this is tough. If Colombia show up, it's a 2-1. If Colombia show up, it's a 2-1. If they slip, the Uzbeks take it. But I have to back Colombia as one of my semifinalists at the tournament, so I'm going to take them 2-1 here. Portugal versus Uzbekistan. Lord, give me the strength. Portugal versus Portugal are good, man. They are damn good. Oof. Oh, my goodness. And this is in Houston. This pains me, but I'm going to go with a 2-1. I'll go 2-1. The Uzbeks have been fighting and a bit more offensive under Cannavaro lately. I do think it's going to be a 2-1 here. Colombia versus DR Congo. I'm going to go 1-1. I actually think the Congolese athleticism is going to hold Colombia here. And then Colombia versus Portugal. I think Colombia get up for games like this. I think they win 1-0. DR Congo versus Uzbekistan. I do think the Uzbeks will win this game 1-0. Oh my goodness. This is just going to be a thrilling group. And then Group L, we have England versus Croatia. Y'all know this is a 1-1 draw. Come on, people. Ghana versus Panama. I'm backing my Panamanians, dude. I'm backing my Panamanians to get a victory against Ghana in this game. Completely 50-50. Ghana, another team. Added to the list of teams that got to do something in March, man. I'm tired of these 1-0 victories, snooze fest in World Cup qualifying. Go out there and then go into Asia not doing a damn thing. And I know they're missing players. They're always missing players. Go out and have a good performance, please, before the World Cup. And I can put some more respect on Ghana, maybe upgrade this to a 2-2. England versus Ghana. I kind of think this is going to be a 3-1 for England in this game. Ghana, I don't know. Based on what I saw against the Asian teams, I'm not totally backing that defense against the better sides. Panama versus Croatia. I do think this is going to be a 2-0 for Croatia. England versus Panama. Let me see. Would England have... No, they'd have 4 at this point, so... I think they would give it a proper go, and I'm going to say they beat Panama. I can't decide 2 or 3. I'll say 3-1 in this game, and then Croatia versus Ghana. Interesting. I don't know if Ghana doesn't lose. Ghana does 2-goal. Hold, let me settle down there. That's a crazy prediction. I don't think Ghana loses every game here. So I think that's what we have at the end of the day. Let's go ahead and move on now to the knockout stage. Côte d'Ivoire versus USA. I don't think I've seen this preview in anybody else's prediction. So either I got 4,000 ball IQ or I'm a dumbass. I mean, comment down below. This is a incredibly difficult game for the United States. Oh my gosh. Yo, we need this to happen. This is actually incredible if we get Côte d'Ivoire USA. Oh my gosh. Okay, so like pretty attacking footy versus like take on gods in Côte d'Ivoire. Côte d'Ivoire don't have a great back line. This is a scary matchup for the United States. Oh my gosh. Okay, I gotta pick something, otherwise this video is gonna be way too long here. Oh, I'm gonna go. Oof. Damn, I want to go Côte d'Ivoire so bad. I'm picturing them going up against Dest and Anthony Robinson. Amad Diallo versus Anthony Robinson, bro. Smash the damn like button. That's going to be such a good battle there. How is the U.S. midfield? I don't think... okay. Côte d'Ivoire's midfield is it's a very good machine. It doesn't have a lot of goals. And then Balogun versus Ndika and Fofana in goal. This is incredible. I think this would go to pens. I don't think I can do penalties here, so I'm just going to say, oh my goodness, Côte d'Ivoire, not very good at penalties. I'm going to say 2-1 for the States right now. But, wow, that was a complete banger. Senegal versus Egypt. God, help us. Can we please stop getting this fixture? I think it's 2-0 this time. Egyptians do not have enough. Mexico versus Switzerland. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This would be really bad. Oh my gosh. If I click on the game, does it tell me where it would be? It would be in Foxborough. Really? So Mexico wouldn't even... Hold on, I'm going to fact check that. No, this is not correct. This is in Mexico City. Okay, I was thinking, I'm like, I don't know if that really makes any sense. See, this was actually... So Switzerland won the game 4-2. But one of the Swiss goals was offsides, and one of Mexico's goals, I believe, was called off. That was not offsides in this game. So I think at VAR, this was very 50-50. But the Swiss always take care of business, man. So I'm going to go 2-1. Honestly, I think this is the end of the road for Mexico. I think they just kind of park the bus and we get physical and try to foul a lot. But unless we get a penalty or something, I think we're cooked in this game. Japan versus Morocco, the game that everybody and their mom wants to see at the World Cup. Oh my gosh. I don't think Japan would win this game. Am I crazy for saying that? I want Japan to win the tournament. But if they pull Morocco, that physicality, I think, is going to bother them a lot. And, oh my gosh, I just don't think... I know I'm going 2-1 in every freaking game here, but I think it's the end of the road for Japan, guys. I really do. If they see Morocco... I don't think they're going to win. Oof, this would make me very, very sad. If Japan go out in the round of 32, devastating. But I truly believe Morocco would win if these two teams played right now. Portugal versus Croatia. Oh, my Lord. Okay, these are going too hard. These are honestly going too hard. We need to bring the heat down a little bit. We need to bring down the simmer. We're boiling too much. If this happens, Portugal gets sent home early, in my opinion. Croatia advances. Spain versus Algeria. I don't think that Algeria can cope here, based on what I saw in the Nigeria match. I think they'll be a bit outclassed technically here. It will help them. You know what? I actually think they can get a goal. Not 10. That would be insane. It will help them that Spain is not overly physical. They're very much like a tiki-taka, finesse ball team. I think Nigeria just beating the crap out of Algeria kind of like knocked them off their game a little bit. I don't think that will happen against Spain. I think they bow out respectfully like they did against Germany a couple World Cups ago. Turkey versus Canada. This is such a good game. This is such a good game. Oh my goodness. And I believe this will be in Canada as well. Oh my gosh. Turkey versus Canada. Ooh, I think Canada takes it. I think Canada takes it 1-0, man. Oh, that's a hot take. I need to think about that. Let's pause that and come back to it. France versus Belgium. I'm going to say a 2-0 for the French in this game. Let's go ahead and move on to the other side of the bracket now. Brazil versus the Netherlands in this round? Nah, man, I said turn the heat down, not turn it up. Oh, my goodness. I do think Brazil's good enough to win this game. I'm going to say it's a 3-2. The Dutch back line's not good enough. Brazilian fullbacks aren't good enough. Expect goals in this game. Germany versus Norway. Holy hell. Germany versus Norway. And you know what, guys? I think the Norwegians would take it. I think they would take it 2-1. I'm sorry. I'm not too high on the Germans right now. Another team, that's a European team in March that I'm watching the most closely. Them and Belgium. I need to see what those guys do. Korea versus Scotland. Hold on a second. This is an incredible poll for both sides. Are you kidding me? If the Scots get to play the Koreans, they're like, hell yeah. The Koreans get to play the Scots, they're like, hell yeah. Korea versus Scotland, man. Okay, so Korea possession ball. Honestly, they're not too dissimilar. Scotland doesn't quite have the goals up front that Korea have. Neither are quite pacey teams. I think this would be I, I don't have penalties here, so I'm going to say Korea on pens is my prediction. They did beat Saudi Arabia on penalties at the last Asian Cup. I don't think it's unreasonable to expect this. It could be a 1-0 across the 120 minutes as well, which I believe would be Son Heung-min's first knockout win at a World Cup, which would be awesome. Okay, England versus Uzbekistan. Come on, man. This is disgusting. This is disgusting. If the Uzbeks win this game, then Asia is to the moon, man. 2027 Asian Cup is going to go so hard. Hit subscribe for that content. But I do think, again, I don't quite rate Cannavaro yet, so I'm going to say 3-1 for the English. I feel like how they played against Senegal in the round of 16 last World Cup, where they just smacked them up. I kind of think it would happen again with the Uzbeks, but they probably have the talent to get a goal. Argentina versus Uruguay. You got to be shitting me. I mean, are you serious right now? This is an incredible 2-1, man. Are you serious? This is the only knockout game Bielsa could win. Do you guys understand that? The only one he could win is defeating Argentina, defeating his homeland, defeating a team that he flopped with at the World Cup. That's the only game that Bielsa has a chance here, and that's why I'm going 2-1, man. The Platense Derby. Gosh, man, if Uruguay took him out here, this is actually huge upset potential. Uruguay plays very well against Argentina. That is huge upset potential. Paraguay versus Iran. Footy hipsters unite. This is an incredible game, but Paraguay takes it 2-1. In my opinion, Iran's defense is just too bad, and I think if they concede early, they'll get too emotional, upset like the Iranians tend to do, and Paraguay will just keep it cool. Italy versus Ecuador. Okay. I'm thinking back to the friendly. Ecuador were not good in that game. They weren't terrible. I think this is a penalty shootout game, and I think Ecuador advances. So I'm going to give it a 1-0, but I'm going penalties for the Ecuadorians. Colombia versus Panama. Panama made the knockouts. That's kind of cool. But I'm gonna go 3-1 for Colombia. Sorry to my Panamanians, but I just don't think that they have enough juice. At the Copa America in the quarterfinals, Colombia ransacked Panama like the original Spanish conquest. It was bad, 5-1 in that game. So I don't think it would be quite that bad this time around. I do think Panama have improved since then, but it would be ugly. Senegal versus the United States. Great game here. Great game in which Senegal controls it and wins 1-0 in this case. And the U.S. would bow out in the round of 16, having defeated Cote d'Ivoire. I feel like that's a pretty good tournament. Switzerland versus Morocco. This is a 50-50 game completely. 50-50 game completely. The Swiss versus Morocco. So Morocco would probably, to combat the Swiss high line, I do expect Regragui to make adjustments in this game. Guys, do you see what we're headed for in the quarterfinal? I just realized that. You gotta be kidding me, man. I really like the Swiss. I like how the Swiss have no fear of any national team. I think that they would win this game. I think they would take it 1-0 as well against Morocco, but this is a complete 50-50. I have very low confidence in that pick. Croatia versus Spain. I think we get a 3-2 really, really good game here between these two sides. Croatia's defense, I mean, they're just a little bit worse than they were last World Cup, in my opinion. I think Spain will be pushing for it. Obviously, the number one favorite to win the World Cup. Croatia versus Spain tends to be a really good game. I remember Croatians were telling me at the last Euros, we are Spain's kryptonite. Look at this American. He doesn't know history. We're going to beat Spain, and then we know what happened in Croatia. Got grouped. So just keep that in mind before you pour into the comments this time. Canada versus France. I think this would be a 2-0 for the French. Jesse Marsh. I mean, even them beating Turkey. They need their team healthy. They need their team healthy. That's the only way. If a single player is missing from that 11, the Turks take it, but I don't think it matters because I think both lose to the French. Let's go ahead now and move on to the other side. Brazil versus Norway. A phenomenal match. A phenomenal match. Oh my gosh. Brazil versus Norway. I believe Norway is the only team that Brazil haven't lost to. That's a nice little historical fact. That's not really the reason that I would pick Norway in this game, but, I just like to sprinkle those in from time to time. Let you guys know that I do watch ball. I don't just check football or SofaScore. Not that there's anything wrong with those programs. Let me stop now. Brazil versus Norway. I just... Oh, my gosh. Okay. Norway's attack will score. Will score in this game. And I kind of think they score too. Dude, I'm so tempted to go upset. I am so tempted to say it's this. I'm so tempted. I don't like Brazil's defense. I don't. But Norway, that attack's got to be cooking, man. Absolutely cooking for this to happen. This isn't that unrealistic. Norway making the quarterfinals is not that unrealistic, but this would be a huge disappointment for Brazil. Let me think about that for a second. Korea versus England. I think the English would take this. I think this would be a hard game for Korea. I'm going to go 3-0. I don't think the Koreans would score in this game. England makes it to the semifinal. Let me just ponder that for a second. Argentina versus Paraguay. Oh my, we have a full CONMEBOL side of the bracket. This is rigged. This is rigged for Messi. I rigged this for the GOAT to get his second World Cup. Argentina versus Paraguay away from Asuncion. Argentines take it 1-0. If you know anything about the history of this fixture, the Paraguayans get down and dirty for this game. They will lose valiantly, and I think you will call that a successful World Cup. Ecuador versus Colombia. Man, this is probably the worst team that Colombia could come up against. My darling to make the semifinals of the tournament. Holy heck. Okay, last time Ecuador beat Colombia, it was in Colombia, but if you actually watched the game, you know that Colombia had 15 chances, including a one-on-one from John Arias that he just shot right at Galindez. It was terrible. It was a great victory for Ecuador. One of their biggest shining moments from the qualifying, I think, to pick up that victory. Basically sealed qualification. Colombia getting revenge here. This is very difficult. This is where I think Becasese screws it. This is where I think he would lose his head. And if Colombia are playing well, I do not think he will be able to make the necessary adjustments. I think this is a bloody affair, and the Colombians survive 1-0. Moving back over here, Senegal versus Switzerland. This side of the bracket, this blue zone, incredible. Incredible. If we get this, we are guaranteeing one of these teams to make a semifinal. So, guys, think about it. I didn't even realize it, but in the blue zone, it is history for everybody. This is historic for everybody. Cote d'Ivoire make a semifinal? History. United States make a semifinal? Yes, they made it in 1930. But I feel like in the modern age, historic. We don't take the 30s World Cups that seriously. Sorry, Uruguay. Doesn't mean that it didn't happen. Just doesn't mean, I just don't put as much stock into it. Mexico semifinal? Stop it. Senegal semifinal? Stop it. Egypt, who haven't even won a game yet? Come on. Switzerland semifinal? Ridiculous. Japan, haven't made a quarters. Morocco, back-to-back semifinals? As soon as Senegal said, I think we're the best African team, Morocco said, step aside, son. We're going to make back-to-back semis. And then AFCON 2027 storylines are going to be on fire. Hit subscribe for that. If Morocco make a semifinal, Blue Zone is unbelievable. I think the Senegalese get it done here. I'm bullish on these guys, man. They make a semifinal. Oh my gosh. Pop Tia makes a semifinal. They are stacked. Okay. Spain versus France. This pisses me off because who has a better moment of magic? France or Spain? Because that's why France won in the Euro. Because Lamine Yamal is him. It wasn't Luis de la Fuente masterclass. It wasn't Deschamps having the biggest stinker of all time, even though Deschamps' ball is very uninspiring. I think the fact that he's leaving will actually hurt him more than help. Nah, I'm going to go 2-1 extra time. This is extra time game for sure. Moving on to this side again. Am I keeping Norway? Am I keeping Norway beating Brazil? I guess it doesn't matter because I would have England beating either team here. I'm going to say 2-1. I mean, even if I switch this to Brazil, I still think England would beat Brazil. I think they match up very well. Midfield for midfield is exciting. England have Harry Kane as a striker, very clinical goal scorer, great options out wide, better fullbacks than Brazil. Tuchel versus Ancelotti, even that is like two great tournament coaches going against each other. I'm going to call that a narrow advantage for Ancelotti out of respect for him, but Tuchel's a Champions League winner. Like, we got to stop playing with this man as well. It would be all-time classic, but I'm going to say England make the semifinal. Argentina, Colombia, rematch of the Copa America final. We almost got rematch of the AFCON final right here. And if we would have gotten that plus rematch of the Copa America final, this World Cup is a dub. This World Cup is a dub. I mean, it's a dub no matter what. Are you seeing some of these games, man? The red zone is fire as well. It is so good, but we have a little bit of overrepresentation of Latinos down here in the southern right border. Argentina versus Colombia. I think the Argentines just know how to win, bro. I love Colombia. I back them to make the semifinal, but I think it would be the end of the road here. And this is where we see the revenge. Hand of God. England versus Argentina. Shout out to Connor. He thinks it's one of the greatest rivalries in international football. I disagree. Unless this happens. And then it's back, baby. It's absolutely back. In Senegal versus Spain. I think that Spain would... I do think they would beat Senegal. I'm going to go 2-1. I'm going to go 2-1 here. I do think the Senegalese keep it respectable. England versus Argentina. Lord, give me the strength. The Argentines want to beat that ass. And I think they will. I think they would beat the English 2-1, setting up a Senegal-England third-place game in which I think Senegal would beat England because I don't think England would care as much as the Senegalese would. Oh my gosh, Spain-Argentina. Finalissima rematch in the World Cup final. Woo! I think the Argentines take it. And I think Argentina will repeat. As World Cup champions. I don't know why I zoomed in like that. I seem unable to zoom out at this point, which maybe I should refresh. Well, I lost my bracket after I refreshed, but you guys saw it. That would be an incredible tournament if that is what we end up having. So for the sake of entertainment, hopefully I'm on the money with some of these predictions because the storylines, the amount of epicness we would see, it would validate the expanded World Cup. 100%. I guess we're going to have to wait and see. And this is the conclusion of episode 1 of my World Cup predictions. I know I went hot with a couple of these. Brazilians, they're so mad. Japanese, they've unfollowed me. South Africans think I'm a simp. There's a lot of things that will make people angry in this video. It's all just for fun, okay? I love the World Cup. There's about 10 teams that could win, maybe even 12, that if they won, I would be extremely happy about. And I think I've done a decent job of sprinkling in a couple hot takes with the rest supported by my own visual experience watching these teams, my own ball knowledge. And if there's something that you guys think I'm just completely missing, let me know down below in the comments. And let me know if you guys would be excited if the World Cup went down like this. I would be like, man, we got Senegal, England, third place game. Spain, Argentina, World Cup final. We already know it's rigged anyway, so we might as well just, all agree that's what it's going to be. Fantastic. Copa America final rematch in the quarters. Oh my goodness. There's some bangers in here. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, smash the like button. Hit subscribe for way more World Cup content here on DeadBall TV. I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.